that make Wikileaks what it is, which is an organisation which has technical understanding at its core. That is our speciality, that is our imperative. Our sources, of course, without which none of this is possible. We will always keep your trust and do the best to get the best impact possible for you. We've shown over the years that we do. Our readers, supporters, and defenders who keep our mission going. A lot of staff and a lot of legal battles, a lot of money. And it's only through the funding of our readers and supporters that we're able to keep that business going. Our increasingly formidable legal team, they're public, so they can be named, including Balthazar Cazon, Barry Pollack, Margaret Kunstler in the United States, Lynn Taylor, Gareth Pierce, Stella Morris, Renata Aguilia, Terry Shankman, Jennifer Robinson, Julian Burnside, Greg Barnes, and more than 100 other lawyers in different countries, nearly all of whom work pro bono at their expenses. Our allies, media partners, and other defenders in hundreds of institutions and countries, especially the Center for Constitutional Rights in the United States, FFTN, Reporters Sans Frontiers, Human Rights Watch, the ACLU, and the Freedom of Press Foundation in the United States. Professor Gavin McFadden, who's in a very difficult way at the moment in terms of his health. Susan Penn and John Filter, who should be personally thanked. The people and government of Ecuador, from the United Nations, who courageously respected my human rights despite considerable pressure over the years. The people of Germany, the Holland Foundation, the Spiegel, the Deutsche Zeitung, the CCC, Angela and Daniel Richter, John Gertz, and there's many others who I can't mention. And last, but perhaps most significantly, those who died fighting in this business. Michael Ratner, Chief Legal Counsel, John Jones, who, together with Melinda Taylor, presented our UN decision. Aaron Schwartz, Lenny Weinglass, another one of our lawyers, rest in power. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Julian. So we have some time to take some questions. Yeah, sure. Julian, do you want to take that one? Because I think it's the false quoting of you that's the issue on some of this. So sorry. It was referring to, do we have any comment on whether the upcoming publications to do with the US elections will destroy Clinton or not?
There has been a lot of misquoting of me and Wikileaks publications. In this particular case, the misquoting has to do with that we intend to harm Hillary Clinton, or that I intend to harm Hillary Clinton, or I don't like Hillary Clinton. All those are false. They come about as a result, principally, it seems, of this campaign and defenders trying to personalize our publications. Are upcoming publications significant in relation to the U.S. election? Yeah, we think they're significant. Do they show interesting features of U.S. power factions and how they operate? Yes, they do.
Any other questions? Yeah. Julian, do you want to? The question is, you seem to have referenced that Ecuador or the Ecuadorian people have been threatened because of the decision to give you asylum. Is that what you said, stroke meant, and can you elaborate any more?
I didn't say threatened. I said that there's significant pressure. It is, if you read the Ecuadorian press, you see some of that in play in relation to other forms of pressure, developments in the United Kingdom, the United States, in response to our upcoming publications and the DNC leaks. Well, we have a lot of sources, and those sources are in US politics, intelligence organizations, and their equivalents in the United Kingdom. And so we know when there are developments afoot, and we're aware of them, and we will understand them and react accordingly.
Yes?
So far during this election cycle, you focused on leaks from the DNC. Can you specify if upcoming releases, including before the election, would also affect the Republicans? Can you go that far?
That was trying to get into content of upcoming releases, re the elections. Will it also cover Republicans? I mean, we generally don't go into sort of content of releases for quite specific reasons, in that part of bringing the impact and also ensuring or trying to minimize the ability to get up a spin before we've actually gone live is one of the reasons why we keep the releases so confidential. So there are good reasons for it. I don't know if you want to elaborate any more, Julian, though, on the Republican-Democrat spin that people have tried to.
There's a lot of fascinating angles that are unexpected.
I think he can't hear what we're saying, so he was talking about the publication. He said there's a lot of fascinating angles. That was the quote that he used. He can't really, the sound back to it. Yeah, it's. Any other questions? Yeah, I'll go to the lady first and then come to you if that's okay. Yeah.
If you look at what you summarize this now, what you've accomplished over the past 10 years, looking ahead to the next 10, what are your goals overall, specifically? Like, what do you hope to accomplish in the next decade with WikiLeaks?
The lady said looking at the past 10 years and then looking at the decade going forward, what do you hope to accomplish with WikiLeaks? What are your goals?
The goals going forward? Well,
yeah, going forward for a decade.
Yeah, I mean, we've come to understand something about modern human institutions and how they work, and how it works and how it's shifting, and that gives some ability. Although, as everyone knows, it's always limited to look forward and understand where things are going. I don't think I'll surprise anyone by saying that we're going in next year into a pretty serious space in the global geopolitical order as a result of either of the two current US presidential candidates and the power factions that are behind them, and waning Pax America in different ways. And the shifting from predictable state power into an assembly of unpredictable state powers and major corporations acting more and more like states. Why that was thought back in the 1990s that the state was at an end. Actually, something really very different is happening now. I don't think something that could have been foreseen at that stage. So, as far as WikiLeaks is concerned, the more we're in an interesting position. The more that the world globalizes and digitizes, the greater comparative advantage WikiLeaks has. Similarly, the greater the levels of censorship, including self-censorship, the greater WikiLeaks' comparative advantage is as an organization that was built legally and technically, and to a degree politically, to resist censorship.
The gentleman at the back.
My question is, that you released 10 million documents in 10 years, which makes 3,000 documents per day. How do you make sure that you know what you're publishing? Does that mean that you can lose 3,000 documents a day without the volunteers, or how does it work?
Do you want to go with this one? Oh, sorry, you can't hear. The question is regarding the stats that we've published, of how much we've published. We say it's an average of 3,000 documents per day. How do we verify at those quantities? Do you want to talk about?
Sure. Yes, of course, that would be impossible. No, it wouldn't be impossible. It would be very hard if we dealing with 3,000 new sources per day, one source, one document, times 3,000. But it's a matter of verifying collections, verifying something about the source or the original source of the intermediaries related to a collection of material. So we do enormous batches of some cases, one case we did 5 million documents, for example.
If I can just add as well, I think this goes back to what Julian was just referring to about how we have quite a niche within our organisation in that we have large levels of technical expertise at our core. And we have learned through our publishing model and progressing in this specialisation in large archives. And they are just a different nature. There's still the same journalistic processes, RE validation, source protection, etc. But when you're talking about large archives, they're just a slightly different nature of the documents. And so your processes for validation are quite specific to working with large data sets rather than, as you say, obviously reading 3,000 individual documents a day that come from different places is quite a different type of task. Yeah, the gentleman just in the back there. Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that one, Julian, or... Oh, sorry, you can't. I keep forgetting you can't hear them. Sorry, I'm sorry. The gentleman was just asking the question about the malware, and he stated that a Bulgarian researcher has found much malicious malware on our site, and just wanted, I guess, an explanation of that one.
Sure. I mean, it's quite. As I said before. When WikiLeaks publishes something, you get what we publish, which is interesting. You get the reaction by the institution concerned, which is interesting. And then you get the reaction by the allies or those people sucking up to the economical political gradient of the institution concerned. So in this particular case, the Hillary Clinton campaign has been going around saying, don't read WikiLeaks because there's malware. And spreading it quite aggressively, and her sympathizers as well. Yeah, and so people have been trying to push that. But the reality is, we are very interested in pristine sources. So WikiLeaks materials have been gone on to be used in a great many number of legal cases. So we're not interested in kind of, in censoring our materials or redacting them at all in general, but very occasionally we might redact for a limited period of time. If there's some security situation involving some person, but only for a limited period of time. And in the case of where, for example, in the AKP, the Turkish ruling political party of Erdogan, where we published around 200,000 of their emails from this, most of them from this year, some from the year before, but all published this year. There was malware sent to the AKP, either from criminal gangs or from state attacks on the AKP. Now that's extremely interesting, and it's not something we're going to censor. Now, does that mean that readers of Wikileaks website are affected by that malware by reading our website? No, this is malware that targets email as an attachment. You can't be infected by reading our website. You have to download the attachment, an exe, and then open it on the desktop and ignore the warnings, etc. Just like downloading any information on the internet site. If you play it that way, there's a chance you'll get malware, just like malware can be in your email box as well.
There's some other questions. Yep. So the changes in structure, the lady was asking a question about the changes in structure you were talking about. I don't know if they were, you would describe them as changes in structure or just sort of increase, but she was wanted to know any more about these, and particularly the donation side that you'd referred to, and what the timescale is on these changes to take place of the upcoming more organisational changes rather than just publications.
Well, I mean, some of these things are immediate. As I said, our efforts to build a very sizable community and bring in the public as a task force to analyse, amplify our publications and to defend us against what is a really quite remarkable McCarthyist push in the United States at the moment, principally by Hillary Clinton's allies, because she happens to be the person being exposed at the moment. If you're talking about our changes in terms of membership system.
Ja, då... Ja, då provar vi lite mera ljud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Då bör ju alla som är inkopplade ha det just nu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.